I want to talk more about what Shopify Catalog actually is, because that's a foundation I think that everything really sits on. Shopify Catalog is essentially a very standardized, machine-readable index of every eligible product across Shopify's merchant base. So it's got everything. It's what AI performs queries on when they're surfacing product recommendations in real time. Things like pricing, availability, product options and variants, product relationships, all of that gets pulled directly from the Shopify catalog. So if your data is in there and it's accurate, AI platforms can find you, and they can recommend you. And if it's not, or if it's messy, or if it's disorganized, you're either going to be invisible and not a part of the conversation, or you're going to be misrepresented as a part of the conversation, which can at times be even worse. So the important thing to understand is that the Shopify catalog isn't an entirely like separate system you have to go and build yourself. If you're on Shopify, like I mentioned before, your products are already automatically included. But for many, when it comes to actual differentiation, the question isn't whether you're actually in the catalog, but rather is what's in there actually working. And Shopify does give you a bit of a head start here if you're running a native Shopify store. A lot of the foundational product schema gets generated automatically. So your product title, description, your category feed directly into that catalog representation. But the default mapping is fine. It's just not great. So as an example, by default, Shopify takes your standard product title, your standard product description fields, product category, and it bundles all that up into the catalog representation of your product. And that's what an AI agent is going to see. But the problem that most product descriptions were is that most product descriptions were previously written for a human browsing a traditional PDP. So they weren't written to answer the more conversational queries that Philip referenced before that AI platforms are now fielding. So things like, I'm a fashionista, so blue jeans under $100 that have free shipping and I'll receive within 2 days, or a cosmetic bag as a gift for a work acquaintance. I mean, those obviously aren't the traditional keyword searches we've become accustomed to, because they're intent-driven questions. And if your product data doesn't contain the right signals, you're not going to show up in a response to any of those queries. And that's why appropriate data mapping has become so important. And when your data is incomplete, Shopify doesn't just leave the fields blank. It attempts to infer using AI. So it's going to pull from whatever product data you provided, and it's going to make its best guess at things like what is your unique selling point? What are the top features? Right down to trying to understand what specific tech specs might look like, which is especially precarious for brands that buy and trade on differentiating in that space. And while that sounds helpful, I think in some cases it is. Inferred data is a guess. It's based on what Shopify can extract from an existing product title or an existing short product description. And if those inputs are vague, or if they're generic, or just optimized for a completely different purpose, the inference is going to be equally as vague and generic. And the difference between like when a product shows up for a cosmetic bag as a gift and one that doesn't, isn't the product itself. It's whether the catalog entry contains the word gift anywhere, or signals like, more specific or more colorful, like perfect for gifting or gifts under $50. If that language isn't in your data, it's not being inferred, and you don't show up for that query. So thoughtfully mapped data puts you more in control of that, instead of very honestly leaving it to chance with inferred data from AI. So coming back to that catalog query tool I mentioned earlier, this lets you run real search queries against your individual store's catalog to see exactly what AI is reading back. And what comes back often for a brand starting out is that AI inferred version of your catalog entries. If those fields look vague or off to you when you're reviewing them, that's your signal that the underlying product data needs work. And it's the clearest diagnostic tool we have for understanding what I'm talking about, is the gap between what a merchant thinks their catalog says and what an AI agent is actually seeing.